On to you, Geminis, right? All right, so for you Geminis, you have the King of Cups, the Queen of Wands, and then you Geminis have the Emperor. I know that a lot of you Geminis, like the last Gemini reading that I did, um, thank you, appreciate it. But it was something that really needed to be said. Uh, so a lot of you Geminis are single. You're doing great. You like it because the King of Cups, the Queen of Wands, and the Emperor. Um, a lot of you Geminis are probably a lot more emotionally stable anyway, because like it is that I said before, you don't want to have someone around you that is kind of G'ing you, right? Like kind of playing you. Oh yeah, they hanging around you. But is on some Fetty Wap type stuff. I think Fetty Wap is actually a Gemini, but is on some Fetty Wap type of stuff where it's like, yeah, they only hanging out with you because they think you look good. And so, they're not hanging out with you because the two of you actually are on the same page. Yeah, they like you, but, the two of y'all grew apart, but so they only like you physically. Even though they do like you to a certain extent, they can't get past the physical looks. And so the situation with that is you Geminis love not having to be connected to them anymore because you don't want to be around somebody that basically is G'ing you, right? It's a New York term. It's like playing you, right? Lo and behold, it actually means something a lot deeper than what it is that you think that it means, but it's very appropriate. And the King of Cups and the Queen of Wands speaks to, the door is open basically for you Geminis to get to know other people, because you don't have to deal with someone who's going to be around you who, quite frankly, it's going to be dysfunctional interactions between yourself and them, right? Like every time you interact with them, it's going to be dysfunctional interactions. You know, you Geminis will say something and they'll, right? And you're like, what is going on? Because it's stupid. The concept is stupid. Because it's like, why be around someone whom you're not on the same page with? Why be around someone who you think has completely lost their mind? Why be so tight with someone who's like that in the first place? Oh, because the person, the excuse, oh, because you Geminis look good. Yeah, but eventually a person will end up losing a mind, or is in jeopardy of losing their mind if they hang out with someone who is like that too. So it's like they have to, there is no hanging out with a person who's not kind of, but very off. It's pick what you want to do. And so the situation is the Emperor, you actually feel quite good about having solitude. And what I mean when I say solitude, I mean not having people around you who is going to be hanging around you, but in essence is like I said, G'ing you, right? They G you. They gave you the game. They played you, right? They're saying one thing, doing another. They're acting. They're putting on a front, basically. And the reason why the Emperor came up is because you can do whatever you want. You don't have like jealousy or envy around you, Geminis. You Geminis don't have, people who, acting or actors or actresses or people who play games and stuff like this. It's you and the people who either understand what you're saying or is starting to understand what you're saying, right? Because like I slow down, because I understand what it feels like. Because like I said before, I was in the metaphysics since I was 13, going on 14, 33 now, going on 34. And I understand how wild it was, because you saying something to people, and they so goofy. I mean, they are profoundly goofy. They are deeply stupid, and like they not taking the time to really let themselves understand what you're saying. It's too close minded. They stupid. Like, you for instance, like you telling them something, like you telling them you can't control. Like, I've been on this type of time since I was 15, trying to tell people since I was 15, you can't control people, because I figured out that principle since I was 15. Like, when I used to go to the older individuals that I used to know, because I used to hang out with all older individuals, right? For the majority, I say the majority of the people that I knew that I used to hang out with is older. And then the thing about it is that I would ask them, like, yo, how can I get somebody to like me? And they would say, oh, money. And the thing about it is that, like, it wasn't, the thing is that I tried that for a while, kind of got successful, but then I basically was like, this is whack, because I don't want to have to kind of show off with the money thing, because I'm not trying to get people to like me for the bread. And then what happened is, like, they would just give me like little extra attention and stuff like this, right? And then after a certain time, I basically became more of myself, where I was like, I'm not gonna do this because this is whack. And then they would basically go back to ignoring me or whatever. Anyway, the long story short of what it is that I was trying to say here is, I basically got to really understand that you can't make anybody like you. That's not, you can't make anybody. Let me be more accurate and specific. You can't make anybody be with you. That's something that a person has to make a choice. This is why I say a million times, if you have ever heard me say that the religious Allah says, submit. Yeshua, or Yahuwah, whatever name people call him, Jesus Cristo, whatever name people are calling one of the prophets, right? Yeshua says decide, and the decision has to be made from meaning what? It has to be made from the actual person whom is choosing to hang around you. The reason why they want to hang around you is because they choose to, not this you trying to front like, oh, you got this amount of bread, so you got this amount of bread, people feel like they're gonna flock to you. Yes, that's a choice, but it's really more so where it's like you're trying to control the hierarchy from the top down by using money in order to do that. As to where when it's a decision or it's a choice, you're basically being yourself. And if the person decides to hang out with you, then they decided to hang out with you. And they supposed to know what type of time it is. And if they hanging out with you for the wrong thing, especially if you're wise and you have, if you wise, meaning that if you have knowledge and experience, right, underneath your belt, or not underneath, but you know what I mean, like on your belt, if you have knowledge and experience, right, if you if you're standing on knowledge and experience and stuff like this, right, uh, it's gonna be real difficult for people to play you, and it's gonna be real difficult because it's gonna be real. It's because they're gonna look stupid, because it's like when you're not holding on to anybody, it's gonna be like, why are you hanging here? Why are you hanging around me? Now, what does this have to do with you Geminis, right? Because this was paramount that I actually explained that. It wasn't like for nothing. I do things intentionally, but a lot of the times people don't be seeing it. And the thing is that or they don't want to. This is when I don't talk to them. But the high priestess and the hanged man, right, for you Geminis, is all about how, because now that you Geminis have actually gained back your solitude, because you basically went spring cleaning, you kicked a lot of the people out who are not going to hang out with you, because they want to be of double minds. They want to hang around you, but then still think that you losing your mind and all this stuff. But then they hanging around you. The high priestess and the hanged man represents, they think you just tripping, and eventually you're gonna let them back in. See, delusion of this is what I was just talking about. You Geminis are supposed to be losing your mind, yet anyway, you Geminis are supposed to be losing your mind, and y'all are supposed to be gone fool. Y'all are supposed to completely lose your mind. Yet and still, here they are thinking that you're gonna forgive them and you're gonna forgive them, and they still want to hang out with you. Why do they even care that you're gonna forgive them and that eventually you're gonna want them around? But then on the other hand, they think you done gone fool. They didn't think you done went crazy. You see the cognitive dissonance? You see the cognitive dissonance? So the magician now and the moon and the chariot right here is about how, so since that's the case, you Geminis also have been, you will do your thing. You know, you have been doing your thing, but you'll do more of your thing. You will become more, talking about the future, you'll become more submerged into your spirituality. And the moon and the chariot right here represents you will also gain a level of more discipline. You will become more disciplined in who you are and where you are and what you are about. And the star card and the Five of Pentacles, some people will actually start to understand why it is that you do things a little bit more. And some people will actually want to hear you Gemini speak more. Like, this is what they was talking about. This is not to get too religious, but this is what in the Bible they was talking about, how, you know, when you are chosen or whatnot, or when you are of the elect, the 144,000 basically, they were saying that you will become the fisher of men, or you will become a fisherman, meaning that you will have your own way of life, your own culture about yourself, your own philosophy, your own unique way of doing things. And people will like it because it's so strange and peculiar and odd, but then it makes sense to the point where people will actually now want to get down with it and actually listen to the things that you have to say. That's what it's referring to. You see what I'm saying? So this is why it is that I was saying that some of these people not understanding what you Geminis are about, it's their loss, because they don't know you anymore. They're not even trying to take the time to reintroduce themselves to you so that they can get to know you. They're not even open-minded. I can't explain to you Geminis how many people, like, they don't even understand why I do certain things. And it's like, stop comparing yourself. And I try to let them know, stop comparing yourself to me. Stop doing it. Don't do it. Why? Because you don't do the things that I do for the same reasons that I do it. I know what I'm doing. You don't. I have a plan. You don't. Right? So let's clarify some of these cards. Let's clarify the star card. A lot of people don't even understand what it is that they're reading. You know, they be reading it, but their comprehensional skills is off. And then not only that too, but it goes to show you that when a person reads something, they have to have a developed mind. Because even when a person may read something, it goes to show you what part of their mind, or what part of their brain, or more so accurately, what part of their mind are they using? What part of themselves are they accessing? Are they accessing too much of a mind where it's hierarchy, it's social dominance, or are they activating a part of their mind where they get this information because they legitimately live this? So in other words, an example of this is like, why is it that some people get so bent out of shape about me talking about myself? They too stupid to understand, because see, they're not, let me not even say that. Let me turn it into a teaching moment. They so caught up with, oh, well, why are you not talking about this? They don't realize I have been talking about that for the whole time, because their mind is not attuned to that. They're so narcissistic and caught up with their own delusion and of grandeur. They're not even realizing, doesn't matter if you're doing it for a joke or if you're being serious. It's still a bad look. It's still a bad look to even write that, because it says that you either want to start drama, which is narcissistic, that's a problem, or you legitimately don't understand it, which is also narcissistic, because what it says is the person is at a level right now where they're unable to understand any truth. They're so caught up with their own confirmation bias. The comprehensional skills is low. It's at a point of remedialism. They're not remedial. They're remedial. They're not understanding the information. They don't understand that I'm using myself as an example to show you where what I did right and where I failed, because there's value in understanding where a person failed and where a person succeeded. There's value in both. And that if a person is going to be taken seriously, a true leader must show you where they did wrong as well as where they succeed. They can't just teach you about all the upsides and the great things, then they are a salesperson. So let's clarify the star card. You have the High Priestess, Queen of Ariel, the Moon, the Star card, and then you have the King of Raphael. So again, the High Priestess, the Queen of Ariel, and the Moon represent. So that's it. You Geminis have to just keep living your lives, keep enjoying it, build with the people that understand you, build with the people that want to build with you, and never mind the dysfunctional people that act like something wrong with you. No, something wrong with them. Because let me explain this stuff to you too. Take my example and use my example, right, as a learning lesson. All the people who chastise me and talk about, oh, I'm a child of Satan and all this other type of goofy nonsense and all this stuff, I'm making more money than them. Okay, let's not even talk about money. Let's do spirit. I'm a lot more free than they are. I don't run around and do goofy nonsense. I'm not looking to hurt anybody. I'm more at peace with what I got going on than they are. And yet they stay on such moral high ground, right? And yet nobody talked to them. Nobody wanted to be around them. I'm meeting new people almost every time I step outside. I met a Chinese guy the other day. He has two big dogs, whatever the case may be. I met old boy on I think it was Monday or Tuesday, and then what's today? Today's Friday. No, I met him on Tuesday. Right, I saw him on Tuesday, and then I met him again on Wednesday or whatnot. And because I bowed, right? I bowed not necessarily to him, but I bowed because there was candles when I used to walk there. In the space that I walk, there's candles. There used to be candles because a person expired there, if you know what I mean, right? They passed away there, and I don't know them. I don't know them at all. But to show my respect for the people who have passed on, in a general sense, because we all going there at some point, unfortunately, I show my respects by basically bowing out of respect. In any case, he was actually coming, and it was coincidental that I bowed, because it turned out because it was him, and he was like, "Hey, what's up?" And I was like, "Hey, nehoma, nehoma," which is hello, right, in Cantonese, right, Chinese, nehoma. So he was like, hey, what's going on? Da, da, da. And he told his dog, come and make friends with me and stuff like this. So it's like, and I'm talking the spirituality stuff, right? The same stuff that people say, oh, I'm losing my mind for, and all this other type of goofy nonsense, right? So I'm saying, what I'm trying to say to you, Geminis, is don't worry about what other people got going on. They're the goofy ones. The star card and the King of Raphael right here speaks to how, well, I can't clarify the star card with the same star card, and wouldn't make any sense. But the King of Raphael is about how you Geminis are headed in the correct direction. Trust. Comment on the video, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, share the video. Peace.